In this video, we are going to talk about the outer join, or the outer joins. So here we are back taking a look at the same query that we had when we talked about the inner join. This one is exactly the same. So this part hasn't changed at all. What I did do was go in here and I've added some records in both tables, in both the customer table and in the invoice table. So up here in the customer table, I added two records with customer numbers 1002 and 1003. And here in the invoice table, I've added two invoices with invoice number 8005 and 8006. And so the customer numbers on those are 1009 and 1010. That doesn't match any of these in here. So now you may say, well, wait a second, that's kind of messed up if I have some data in here, an invoice with no customer number here, and it kind of is. But one thing about the outer join is that you'll be able to find those situations in which you have data that doesn't match up. Okay, so here I've got basically two records that don't correspond to any invoices over here. Here I have two invoices in the invoice table that don't really have any corresponding customers to them. So when I run the same inner join query that I did before, here's what I get. I get exactly the same thing that I had before. So neither of the new customers are going to show up in this query because there's no invoices that they have associated with them. And likewise, these two invoices are not going to show up in this inner join because there's no customers, valid customer numbers associated with them over here. And so we're going to get exactly the same results. So sometimes you'll want that to not happen. And so what you can do is replace, just realized the football game was still on. Sometimes you will want those things to show up. So instead of having inner join here, I can replace it with left join. And left join is really what is called the left outer join. And so what's going to happen when I run that, as you'll see, it's going to include, right, these two rows in here. It's going to include any rows that don't have a match in the customer table. If I go back and look at the SQL view, right, the left table is invoice. And so any records over here that don't have a match in the customer table, they are going to be displayed in there. Notice it doesn't display these over here. Okay, it doesn't display the records that don't match up here. But so this could help you find some mistakes possibly in the database. Hey, wait a second, I have two invoices and there's no customers to charge because I don't have any information for customers 1009 or 1010. Okay. All right, and so next I can do the right join. All right, and that's going to work pretty much the same, right, as that one, only this time the customer's in the right table on the right side of the join. Any non-matching values are going to show up in there. So I have 1002 and 1003 showing up inside there. Okay. And so that's the difference between an inner join and an outer join. The inner join is only going to show records that match, and if there's no, it's going to leave out everything else. With the outer join, right, you can include some records that don't match either in the left table with left outer join or in the right table with right join, sorry, is what it's called. Okay. There is also in some database management systems the full outer join, but Access doesn't support that. So the full outer join will include all the records in both the left and right table that match up. On this one, that's not going to work, right? Because of it doesn't support it. You can do it in Access. It's just slightly more complicated. and we're not going to worry about that. And so that's it. That's the outer join.